Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Podcast on Prince on Podcast Juice. My name is Michael Dean. And yes, we are here on video if you're watching us that way. But joining me today is Mr. Amp Pooh. Sir, how are you?
First of all, docked.
Hilarious. They don't know what you're talking about.
But I'm doing well. It's been a great week. I had Thanksgiving week off, so getting back into the workflow, and the boys doing good.
All right. Well, man, today we're going to do something a little different, I suppose, in terms of how we're recording this. So those who are watching us on video, salute to you, and shout out to all our Patreon family, our YouTube family, and of course, all of our podcast listeners out there and Facebook people who are watching us this particular moment. But today we are going to talk about what Prince album would you cancel? And what I mean by that is not to say we are canceling Prince. We're not doing that. But in terms of the spirit of Prince, and that he canceled one of his own albums, the Black Album, for his particular reasons. I'm just curious, would there be an album, or could you come up with a scenario where you would cancel a Prince album, and why? Like maybe there's an album you would pull off the shelf or, stop from release because you wanted to do a different direction. So that's kind of what we're going to be talking about today. And man, I know the picks, but I don't know the reasonings. So and Pooh, man, I'm gonna let you start. And what album would you choose to cancel?
Well, I know I'm going to get dragged for this. I know I'm going to get more cries of, why are you on the show? But I'm on the show because of comments and hot takes like this.
Okay.
I had two. And my first one would be the Lovesexy album. I'm going to go ahead and let that marinate with y'all because I know, there you go. Yes, here I go again. I'm doing this for two reasons. Not so much for the content of the album, because we cannot deny the album is fire. Mm-hmm. For the Purple fam, Prince diehards, it's fire to us. We got Alphabet Street. We got, oh Lord, I'm spacing. When Two Are in Love, Glam Slam, Anastasia, a masterpiece. However, I'm looking at it to the aspects of Prince's career and how things could have been different if he had canceled an album and what it would have done for him long term. There's no denying the man's work ethic. He was churning out an album a year, sometimes 2 or 3 albums that were 3 years away from being brought to market. However, if we look at it, maybe that wasn't the best course of action. And then if you take in the fact that albums that came before it, Parade, great album. To me, I put it number 1 as his most accessible and played through completely. Sign of the Times. Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you drop the needle on Christopher Tracy Parade, I feel like you can just sit down and listen to that whole album without skipping it, might be. I think it's that good. Sign of the Times. I mean, what more can we say? It's a masterpiece. However, the reception in the marketplace for both of those albums were not very well. I mean, Kiss was number 1. You Got the Look was number 1, but overall, it wasn't that those 2 albums were not that well received market-wise. Now, history has changed it up a little bit, but at the time, they weren't. And and then on top of that, you got to remember, he was going to drop the Black Album, and he allegedly had this spiritual awakening that said, let me shelve that, which a lot of his, we've heard the Black Album. A lot of his people was like, man, he should have released that out. That was funky. That was ill. And he pivoted to Lovesexy, which, let's just be honest, we like the music. But for me, it took me till I was 25 to understand everything that was going on at the album and fully appreciate that. Now, can you imagine at the time, people that just came off of Purple Rain, Parade with Kiss, Sign of the Times, even if they didn't delve deep into the non-release songs, there was still some good stuff on there. And then you go to Lovesexy, and it's the spiritual. You got Anastasia, you got Lovesexy, you got I Know. It just it was, in my opinion, I feel it wasn't accessible. And then I know another reason why people are looking at me crazy. Well, and if you give it a Lovesexy, we don't get that amazing ass concert. I know.
Now, let me be clear. You're saying you would cancel Lovesexy?
Yes, I would.
Okay. All right.
I would.
I'm trying to follow the logic.
Yeah, I'm giving you the logic right there, the marketplace. Now, and with further, another reason why canceling that album is because the next album, regardless of what you may think of it being fire or not, I say Batman was fire. Great concept album. And on top of that, he had the Batman film to really push that up. The #1 movie, and he did the soundtrack. And let's just imagine there's a gap between 87 and 89. People would have been salivating. Not only is Prince back after 2 years of no new music, but he has the Batman movie, which was #1 and probably one of the greatest superhero characters of all time. I just think it would have took him to a whole other level. So that's why I say Lovesexy. And he still would have had all, and then let's just go to that what if quantum realm. He would have had all those songs for Graffiti Bridge. If he so choose. All the Lovesexy songs. Yeah. Which I think if you look at it, some of those songs would have fit in well with Graffiti Bridge and might have done better. Now, I mean, he still had the movie. The movie is what the movie is. But I'm just saying, if he had held on to some of those songs for Graffiti Bridge, how much different that could have been. But I just say taking Lovesexy out to really get an understanding of the marketplace, to not put out an album that to some people they just didn't get. I mean, he put himself naked on the album cover, which I mean, his thing was, the spiritual, the new Prince, the bearing himself to the world, a rebirth. Yeah, that didn't go over well. Whereas if he had taken that break and came back with Batman,
but Batman was already a success either way, though, right?
Well, I'm just saying that period, the having that break, new music, and leveraging Batman, I think it would have took it up another notch. Plus, he might have put some songs from Lovesexy, like maybe When Two Are in Love instead of Arms of Orion.
Yeah. Okay. I would. My only thing I would say to that is, I think, like, to me, I don't know what it would have changed because Batman was a huge success for him. Like, you're just saying it would have been a bigger album, I guess.
Yes, and on top of that, there wouldn't have been that. I think. I mean, let's just be honest. We love Prince, but
side eye.
There ain't no side eye. We love Prince, but when it comes to the mainstream, they didn't get Lovesexy, and he lost some with that. So going from Sign of the Times to Batman, I think it would have been great.
Okay, all right. What do you guys think about that? So what do you think about, as Ant was saying, he would cancel the Lovesexy album? And in its place, you're saying he would just take a break,
yes,
and then come out with Batman,
right?
Okay, all right. And you're saying that's because that would have made even Batman even a bigger album,
right?
Or bigger success overall.
Yes.
Okay. We got some. Scott here in the chat says totally agree, and imagine if he toured with the U.S. with the Sign of the Times tour, promoting a double album with hits and the concert film. Yeah, I mean, shit. The Sign of the Times tour in the States would have been bananas. I definitely agree with that. All right. Let me jump into mine. So the album that I would, and again, when I say cancel, I just keep saying this. Like, the album I'm going to pick is an album I love and was a classic album. But I'm just going to give you my reasons why I think he could have done it different. I don't think he should, but he could have. And again, we're sort of coming around the anniversary of the Black Album. I believe the Black Album was supposed to have been released December 8th, 1987. And then Prince canceled the album December 1st of 87. And this is not like, nowadays, an artist probably said, I wanted to cancel a release. I'm sure there's a lot of other ancillary promotions and things tied into that, which you'd be curious if they'd even given an artist of today that sort of power. But at least there wouldn't be a lot of product, pressed up and that type of thing. So like, back then Prince, they had to literally destroy the albums and the cassettes and the CDs and stuff, which is crazy. I don't know if anyone knows the answer. Did they make him pay for that? I wonder if they were like, oh, okay, well then you just bought all these copies. Or did Warner Brothers just eat that? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I am sure they put that in there. That nice accountant.
I think I just froze. So excuse me, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. Let me reset myself. See if this pops back in. I think y'all can hear me though. You can hear me, right?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Well, yeah, I was always curious. I didn't know if like Warner Brothers was like, nah, you still got somebody got to pay for these. It's coming out of your royalties, partner.
Get them with the business.
Yeah, there we go. It's a business. But so with that said, the album that I would cancel, throw it up on the screen. Around the World in a Day. And I know it's me. What? Get those niggas off the show. The reason why I would say, so here's my thing. This is a great album. It was an important album, but I would say like it could possibly, I would actually have not had Prince release this album. I would have had him pull it back, and I would have had Prince release another album in its place. It was another album that came out that he did not sing on, but I'm going to show you what I'm saying here. So I would have him do this. And I sort of did this on the What If, but I'm saying if you took the Family's album,
I'm just laughing at that picture,
and you put Prince and have those songs be Prince songs. And here's my thing. If you look at that album cover, look at it, if you imagine St. Paul there, and salute to St. Paul, my guy. That's to me is like sort of the intro to the Christopher Tracy sort of style, the black and white. His appearance is totally different, from Purple Rain and even Around the World in a Day. And I was thinking like if he would have continued on the Purple Rain tour and really played that out, because you got to remember Around the World in a Day came out relatively very quickly from the Prince phenomenon. But I'm saying if he would have continued to do the tour a little bit, Around the World in a Day came out in like April of '85, I want to say. Mm-hmm. Right. And the Family came out in like August. So a little later. If Prince would have came out with High Fashion or Streams of Passion, but it was Prince and it was his video and he was doing it, I think that would, it would still like speak to some of the people who love the old kind of a Prince sound. And then as it's kind of changing and morphing, but I think it still has enough like funk, R&B bottoms to it. And then with the jazz element, I just think if he would have came on that level and he sort of introduced that Christopher Tracy sort of persona at that point, and then just threw it out there with the strings and everything, I just think sonically it would have been a head bust to go from Purple Rain to the Family. Like the way the music sounded at that point, because with the strings and all that was, and then he just did that album, dropped it, did a couple videos, and then went off and did Around the World in a Day. And so it's like, okay, you got just a glimpse of this. Dude's coming out totally different, giving you time to kind of soak in that style a little bit. Maybe he still puts Pop Life on that album or Raspberry Beret, but then he comes back fully with Parade, and it's just like he took took the glimpses of what you saw in the Family and just blew it out of the freaking box, and then doubled down with it with the movie. So you're sort of a little more introduced to that style a little bit, and you know what to expect. So then when he comes in with that, it's just like, to me, I'm saying it would be just like 1999 was to Purple Rain. 1999 sort of gives you that visual style and everything, gets you sort of into it. It's banging. And then he comes back and blows you over the head with Purple Rain, with the movie, which is the same aesthetic style of 1999, just a little more pop stuff to it. But, visually looks the same. But then you see it you actually visualize him do it. And I just think if you had visualized it after coming off of, Mutiny or High Fashion, and again, these are songs that he performed anyway. When he did go on tour, right? There wasn't any tour for Around the World in a Day. So that's just my, what I'm saying, way I would have done. I could see it going that way. I'm not saying that Around the World in a Day was a bad release at all. It was an excellent release. One of the ones that really made me fully fall into being a fan. So I'm not taking that away from it at all, but that's just a what if, what I would say. Because it'd be easy to get on here and say, oh man, 3121 and I know people, what? One of the albums that I listen to, but they're not one of my joints, but I didn't want to take the easy route. I said, let me grab one of these classic joints and see if I can make an argument. But what do you think about that?
You reading my mind. That was my second pick, my number 2 pick, Around the World in a Day. Now, not for the same reasons, and I definitely didn't have a lot of the insight of let's bring in the family and get people ready for what would be Parade. It was more so the rollout, the strategy, the reception, and the fact that he really didn't, promote it hard. He gave us one video, one video that he performed it. We did get Paisley Park. But
yeah, and that came out like a month after the album had already been out. They didn't even put a single out at first. Yeah,
he was good. Again, who are we to understand the thought process of Prince? He was going to put it out and let people, you find the single, and you absorb it how I put it out there. But coming off the high that was Purple Rain, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Get your hate mail ready. Around the World in a Day was not the album he should have followed up Purple Rain with. It just wasn't. It was too different. It wasn't accessible. And I get it. You want artists to grow, but you tell me, Around the World in a Day, Parade, Sign of the Times. Which one wouldn't you have followed up Purple Rain with?
Yeah, I could agree with that, but I also, again,
there's fire on the album.
Right, I'm just saying, but I would say even my real world experiences to say, Around the World in a Day was the perfect album to follow because it, like I said, for me, it got me. That's when I really got into Prince. So it's a tough. I can see either way. Yeah. In hindsight, knowing what other stuff he's done, then I would be like, okay.
Yeah. So I just think from that perspective, very experimental, which is what you want from an artist, from a musician, especially from Prince, to just not giving you more of the same. However, for me as success, that might not have been the play right there. And you could have, especially when some people say your best song, you made a B-side.
That's the other thing. It's like there was the B-sides on Around the World in a Day were bananas. Like, right. I mean, that whole period. But the things and it was interesting because, like I said, we didn't get a tour. You barely got some videos. You got Raspberry Beret, and then you got America. But at the point when they shot America, again, as I was saying, he's already in that Christopher Tracy mode at that point. So it's almost a whole different thing. And there was such a gap in time from when you just got to see Prince, because he wasn't on TV. He wasn't doing like live performances on TV. So aside from the Purple Rain tour, or when you saw him on the Grammys or American Music Awards, you didn't see him. And then it was a big break. And then you saw Raspberry Beret. And I remember looking at that like, what? Why? That can't be the same dude. You look crazy. But I was like, okay, some whole other ish. But then that was it for that. That's all you saw of that until America. But then he's, like I said, on a different lane. So I'm looking at the comments. I see a couple people saying Lotus Flower. We held that back. Of course, I see the ones I thought people Phase 2. Yeah, hit and what is it? Hit and Run Phase 1. Damn, neither one of them.
Who was the one from Dwayne Woodley? He had another take on that. I'll look for it.
All right, but yeah, man. I mean, that's kind of what we're just talking about, a different way, I guess, of looking at the albums. Trying to think of what other one I could possibly see. Like I said, I think it's easy to go to the later ones and try and do that. But well, you know what? I would have another one I would have probably have canceled and think make sure I'm in the right time frame. I would have probably took out like whatever album. So I'm a big fan of New Power Soul, right? NPG album. I would have actually had put that out as a Prince album, like on the mainstream level. And whatever album that he did on the mainstream, I would have pulled that bad boy off. And I just think New Power Soul is a dope album, man. Like I still play that joint to this day. Somebody said Come was too dark.
Yeah. New Power Soul was 98. I'm trying to see.
So what album came out?
Well, that was Crystal Ball.
It was right after Crystal Ball, I think.
Yeah, January 1998 was Crystal Ball.
So I guess he was on his independent thing at that point.
Rave came out November 99.
So I would have switched Rave.
New Power Soul was June 98.
Yeah, I would have probably switched Rave.
Yeah, interesting concept, but the execution. And he didn't have as many bangers on there.
On which album?
On Rave.
Oh, yeah. I don't really... Rave is cool. My problem with Rave is that I was expecting it was going to be on some Love Sexy because I know that track dates back from that day. So when I thought, oh, he's going to do that album, this is going to sound like, some older stuff. But then, what we got was, more current sounds and a lot of duets and stuff. And I was like, so I was kind of cool. I'm kind of cool on that album. There's some good stuff on there though, but what's that? Yeah, because the greatest.
Yeah,
that's my shit. Yeah.
I love you, but I don't trust you anymore. Love that one too.
They got bangers on there. They got bangers on there. But anyway, so that's really all that I had on it, man.
Here's another one. Another pick that I would get is Sorry. Controversy. Cancel that one. You got a couple of good hits on there, but can you imagine if instead of putting out Controversy, he took the lead on What Time Is It? And made those Prince songs?
Well, here you go.
He's like, let me go ahead and take that. I'll give y'all the Controversy. You guys can have Let's Work. There's your funk jam right there. But I don't really feel like the last couple songs on Controversy, whereas, What Time Is It? Fire.
Yeah. I don't know. For me, Controversy is essential, man. Like this, just that song in itself.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, because then you'd be giving up less work. What's that?
Do Me, Baby. I'm not straight tripping, Sean. Stop it.
Yeah, he is tripping. Yeah, Do Me, Baby. Come on. There's essential Prince on that, man. That's cold. But I mean, it's your world.
So Dwayne, we posted his comment. He said he liked how Around the World in a Day sifted out the real Prince fans. It was known as the anti-Purple Rain album.
Right. Yeah. Lawrence, Private Joy. Yeah. Come on now. Now I could have seen Private Joy. I could see, for some reason, I could hear Morris doing that. I could see it on the time or something. I can see Morris doing my private joke. But yeah, okay, that's controversy, man. Don't let them do like a controversy, Dirty Minds special edition or something. Oh, I know I'm drifting, but that would be amazing just to hear. It's just really, I would love to hear the Dirty Mind stuff. Not to say there's nothing wrong with the way it sounds now, but I can't imagine like a remastered Dirty Mind, just the sonics of it. Be crazy.
Indeed.
But all right. Like I said, that's the only ones I could think of. So with that said, man, we'd love to hear what some of your thoughts are. What would be an album, that you would cancel, you would pull back at the last minute or whatever? And would you just give Prince a rest during that period, or would you come out with something else? Very curious to hear that. What somebody says, Mike sees Morris doing all the That's right. Break down, baby. Break it on down. Listen, more. Give me your love. See, y'all got me clowning on here. But don't let me get more. It's going to happen. That's going to be a mother. But anyway, yeah, we want to hear what you guys think. What ones would you do? And with that, we're going to wrap it up. But before we leave, Ampu, where can they find you online?
Find me on Twitter and Instagram at Ampu.
All right. And you can find me here on podcastjuice.net. Also, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. We are there. Like I always say, work it like a job. We'll see you next time. Peace. Boom.